G'day everyone, it's super exciting. After heaps of cool products being released, I've been lucky enough to use the new CrushCity plastics for a little while now. So this video is going to give you not just an overview, I'm sure you can see that elsewhere, but some tips and tricks on how to use these things to catch fish, at least from what I've been able to learn so far. So first up, the new shape, the one that everyone's probably going to be talking about, it's the 1.5 inch, the Trickster. A little crab presentation. Now, Rapala VMC are releasing Rise R jig heads and stingers that you can buy specifically for these. Now these are a brim lure for sure. I've also caught trevally, flathead on these. If you're going trevally and flathead, I don't think you really need the stinger, but if you're serious about your brim fishing, if you're a tournament guy, you need the stinger on these. So I actually haven't been able to use the Rise R's yet. I know that there's just the clip on or snap on assist or stinger hooks, which is going to make life so much easier. I've had to fart around and do this sort of thing. So what I've got going there, it's a number 4 bait junkie jig head. I've found if you're using the bait junkie, you don't have to glue these. If you use the number 2 tackle tactics jig head, you do need to super glue it on, or it'll start spinning and rotating, and you don't want that. Then I've just got a bit of braid going up to size 10 stinger hooks, 1 in each claw, and braid going between from the eye. What I haven't done here is run the braid through the body, which is a little trick that I've seen McAndrew using, so make sure you do that. It'll prevent a heap of tangles, but that'll just be for the meantime until these Rise R jig heads and stinger hooks come out. At that point, I'm never doing this again because it's taken me too long to rig. In saying that, these are an incredible lure. They sit kind of like this on the bottom with the claws floating, even with assist hooks in here. These things are floating around, ready for brim to peck at them, and I've caught some stonker brim doing exactly that. One thing that I wasn't expecting about these lures is how well that they skip cast. Now these things, you can get a ton of skips out of them. Put it on light spin gear, just send that thing under a pontoon or in between a pontoon and a moored boat, on jet ski runs, that sort of thing. Just send it wherever you can, and these things will float very naturally. The claws will move about, the legs will kick, and the brim absolutely destroy them. Now you do want these stinger hooks for brim. That's where most of your hookups are going to come. Very rarely they're going to eat the whole hook. You want the stinger on the claws. So my advice for these is send it as deep as you can into the darker shadows in the canals and close that bail quickly, because the brim don't stuff around. They don't take long to think about it. They just see it and smash it straight away. If they don't eat it on the drop, a couple little shakes, bring it back and repeat. On the flats, I actually prefer to almost dead stick these, cast it out. I'm using a 1/8 ounce head on the flats, and once it's out there, dead stick it and just give it a couple little shakes, and that's all it takes. These moving about, bopping across the sand flats, that's all it takes for a brim to pick it up. I think these will be a great lure for kids. You're out there, maybe you're fishing, covering ground, you have kids, get them to rig one of these on, flick it out, dead stick it, and a brim's gonna come pick it up off the bottom. Next, we'll move on to the new sized Imposter. So this is the 2.5 inch Imposter. Now this is a finesse lure that big fish also love. I've found it to be an irresistible size, and while initially it seemed like not a big size difference, when you say the number 3 inch and 2.5 inch, you put these next to each other, they are a very, very different profile. Now, I've caught a ton of fish on this. I've caught trevally, brim, jewfish, flathead, tailor, and of all these, they weren't just small fish. I caught 2 brim that were just under 40 centimeters when I was chasing my first 40 centimeter brim, and then I finally broke it and got my first 40 centimeter brim on this lure. I power fish this in the canals, and I caught my PB jewfish on it as well. So big fish love them, little fish love them. This is becoming kind of my, I don't know what to throw today, so I'm gonna throw this lure, and that's very, very exciting. Now I prefer to rig it on a 1/0 jig head, but I do prefer the lighter weights. You don't power fish this thing too hard. I'm running a 1/12 ounce or a 1/8 ounce jig head, and that's all that you really need. You want to give it 1 or 2 hops and then really just keep that slight slack in the line, stay in contact and wait for the bite. Work it like a finesse lure and you'll be on. So just hop it, manage your line, any tiny tick, set the hook, because there's a fish on. Next up, we have the 3.25 inch creeper. Now this thing is a snapper magnet. I've also caught jewfish on this thing. It is the lure to powerfish. So I like to run a 1/4 ounce 3/0 jig head on this and work it a little more aggressively than I would the old creeper. I used to finesse that a bit more. Work this one hard, 5-6 flicks, stay in contact with the line, and you'll be on. Snapper and jewfish, love it. Next up, we have the 3.75 inch, the Suspect. Now this one surprised me the most out of the bunch. I really love the heavy hitter, specifically the 3-inch heavy hitter in whitebait. This thing has been my go-to since it came out. It's a great lure, you can slow roll it, you can hop it, and everything seems to smash it. So when I saw this come out, I was like, doesn't look that different. However, they work very differently. So the head on these are very similar, but the tail designs are insanely different. So I think that's where the difference is going to be. The heavy hitter has a crazy big body roll. This doesn't. This has a shimmy and a bit of a kick in the tail. So the action on the Suspect isn't as out there as the heavy hitter. So I think when you need a big thump in the water, maybe it's dirty, you're probably going back to that heavy hitter. But in clear water, when you want to finesse, when you want to match the hatch, or there's mullet around and that sort of thing, you're probably throwing the Suspect. Now, I've caught jewfish, threadfin salmon, flathead, trevally, tailor on these. And I rig it on a 3/0, either a 1/4 ounce or a 3/8 ounce jig head, and I work it in a few different ways. For jewfish, threadfin salmon, flathead, it's a classic heavy jig head, 2 hop, keep in touch with the line, rinse and repeat. For trevally, I prefer to run a lighter jig head, maybe the 1/4 ounce, and give it 5 or 6 hops, and then stay in touch with the line, because the trevally, they feed all in the water column, so you need to cover that ground vertically. And finally, for tailor, you want to burn this. The difference from the heavy hitter, I found that the heavy hitter tailor prefer top water, burning it across the top, whereas the Suspect, they prefer subsurface. So get that thing below the water and then start burning it. And often as you start to bring that out of the water, that's when they go, hey, this fish is about to get out of my reach, and they smash it. I've also had luck trolling this for tailor. So I was throwing it out the back on 1/4 ounce and 3/8 ounce jig heads, just moving between spots, and tailor were absolutely smashing it. At one point, getting back to the boat ramp, I just couldn't get back because I just kept hooking up to tailor. So that's a cool way to find a school anyway. And just a quick look at the new Suspect compared to the old profile. It's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger. Last but not least is this massive 6-inch Imposter. It's a 2-hand hold. It's a big one. Now, to be honest, I haven't fished it. It's not really my thing, but from what I know about big barra fishing in the dams, in the comps, is that big prawns have been killing it. And I don't know, I haven't talked to the guys at Rapala, but I assume that will be one of the goals for this lure. It is huge. They're super durable, as are all the CrushCity plastics. There's some really cool colors. There's some barra looking colors in there. So I think that's what I will be trying these on first, when I can finally make a trip to a barra dam. Now, what's really fun is comparing this to the new 2.5 inch. It's just crazy. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on these new plastics. I absolutely love them. And yes, I know I'm part of the street team, but I was using CrushCity plastics for a long time before that happened, and they were my go-to then, and they still are now. They brought out some stuff that has seriously impressed me. I've caught 5 PBs on these new plastics in just a couple of months, and I'm sure you guys are going to crush it too. Now that these are public, I'm keen to learn from you guys as well and see how you best use these plastics. But I hope this can get you running, give you an idea of where to throw them for starters, and get you a few fish on the board. Thanks for watching.